Good afternoon, and welcome to Delaware Valley University. Our graduation ceremony will begin in approximately 5 minutes. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations to our graduates, families, and friends.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 122nd Commencement Ceremony of Delaware Valley University. I'm Ben Russellowski, and I have the pleasure and privilege of serving Del Val as its Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the Faculty. Please rise for the playing of the National Anthem. Please be seated. Before we continue, it's a bit of a tradition here that Dr. Very and I make sure that you have a couple of keepsakes from commencement. On your way in today, you received a commemorative mask to help keep you safe from COVID-19 and an umbrella and sunscreen to keep you safe from the elements. The message, of course, is always to be prepared for what may ever lie ahead. We are not sure, however, that you need this advice. You have all shown resilience and determination in the past year as you played the hand that the pandemic dealt you. There is nothing in your future that you won't be able to tackle when you couple your Del Val education with your experiences of the past 14 months. You've got this today and moving forward, and we are all very proud of you. It is now my honor and pleasure to introduce Mr. Joseph Chip Krauskopf, Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees of Delaware Valley University and the great-grandson of our founder, Rabbi Joseph Krauskopf.
Thank you, Dr. Ben, Dr. Gallo. Wow, I am so excited to be here. It is so nice to be able to share with you this very important day. So good afternoon and welcome, the class of 2021, commencement exercises at Delaware Valley University. I would ask you to please join me, my board colleagues, and the entire faculty, staff, and administration of the university in being among the first to congratulate our graduating seniors. Today we assemble to celebrate your achievements as individuals and as a class. Your many accomplishments are indeed impressive. We also gather to wish you Godspeed as you go forth to join the legions of Delaware Valley University alumnae and alumni who have gone before. You are adding to the university's reputation and fame. Delaware Valley University was founded upon the values of my great-grandfather, Rabbi Joseph Krauskopf. Values that include honoring diversity and seeking knowledge. As we begin the 125th anniversary year, I ask each of you to take time and think about your own personal values. Seek to align your values in your personal lives and in every aspect of your life. Both success and happiness come from living your values. Clearly, today is an important day in your lives. It is also an important day in the life of the university, and I want to take a moment to recognize and congratulate Dr. Maria Gallo on her recent appointment as Chancellor of the University of Wisconsin, River Falls, starting in July. During her 5 years of leadership at Delaware Valley University, Dr. Gallo created a comprehensive strategic plan and a new vision to be the leader in experiential education, empowering all learners to transform the world. A testament to that vision occurred when the university's experiential learning program, Experience 360, was honored with the 2019 Outstanding Experiential Education Program Award by the National Society of Experiential Education. During her tenure, freshman to fall retention rates significantly rose, and the most recent career outcomes rate is the highest in the history of Del Val at 94.4%. Dr. Gallo has also helped the university thoughtfully expand its graduate program offerings to include health science degrees, which will support the increased need of leadership professionals with a master's degree in the expanding healthcare field. She has made access and equity university-wide priorities. Dr. Gallo established the President's Commission on Diversity and Inclusion, as well as the Division of Campus Life and Inclusive Excellence. She has also served on numerous community, state, and national boards, thereby raising the profile of Delaware Valley University. The entire Delaware Valley University community wishes Dr. Gallo the best for her success. It is now my privilege to introduce to you the 13th President of Delaware Valley University, Dr. Maria Gallo.
Thank you. Thank you, Chip, for those kind words. But today, it's about you, members of Delaware Valley University's class of 2021. Congratulations to each and every one of you. I know I speak for the entire Del Val family when I say how proud and happy we are to celebrate your achievements today. And they are remarkable achievements. You are truly a part of history. All of our lives changed dramatically in March of 2020. When the pandemic hit, the entire Del Val community worked together to quickly switch to remote learning so that you could complete the semester and get ready for your senior year. It was a senior year that I am sure was so different from the way you dreamed that it would be. You had to do things that were out of the ordinary. Wear masks, adopt safety protocols in classrooms and labs, socially distance, get randomly tested, take daily symptom screens, plus refrain from gathering with many of your friends, something that in normal times is a vital part of the college experience. Del Val's amazing success in staying open during this COVID-19 pandemic is your story. We beat the odds. We stayed open when many other universities were forced to switch largely or entirely to remote learning because you persevered and kept your eye on the goal. However, the pandemic has taken an enormous toll. We remember those who lost their lives in this pandemic and those who suffered in countless ways. Yet at the same time, we must acknowledge the human spirit that allows us to keep pushing forward despite the setbacks. There is a quote by the Canadian spoken word poet Buna Mohammed that has resonated with me during this time. He said, "Sometimes you find yourself in the middle of chaos, and sometimes in the middle of chaos, you find yourself." I hope at the very least that you have had the time to better understand yourself and where you want to go at this stage of life. What is certain, class of 2021, is that you have grit as well as a passion for learning. You completed your courses, you found E360 activities to do during the global pandemic, you worked hard under difficult circumstances, and you succeeded. Your ability to work through the challenges of the past 14 months will serve you well for the rest of your lives. I have no doubt that you will continue to be resilient and successful. I've had the privilege to get to know many of you over the years at athletic events, award ceremonies, A-Day, Founders Day, and more. I want to highlight a few specific accomplishments from members of the class of 2021 to illustrate how remarkable Aggies are. When COVID-19 shut down much of the community, Sydney Paz lost her summer job. She met with her coach and her faculty advisor and mapped out a plan to graduate today, a year early. She took additional courses since her extracurricular activities were impacted. And Susanna Penkowska, a business major from Poland, has already started working on her Del Val MBA. She will be with us one more year to complete this 4+1 graduate program. Aaron Worthington is a 7th-generation dairy farmer whose mother also attended Del Val. Aaron plans to work on the family farm here in beautiful Bucks County. Jaylene Beach and Emily Davis have both been accepted to Cornell University School of Veterinary Science this fall. These are just a few examples of the talent in this year's class. Today, we're in a growing knowledge-based economy, and to succeed, you need the right skill sets. Graduates, you are well prepared to go out and apply these skills immediately because you received an education steeped in experiential learning, which is our legacy and our future. Your knowledge of One Health, of the interconnectedness of people, animals, and the environment will inform your impact on the world in important ways. Whether you work as a veterinarian or pursue a career in the growing healthcare industry, whether you are a teacher or a policymaker, Whether you are an entrepreneur with a new product or service, or a storyteller, making us think of our world in new ways. Whatever career path you choose, your understanding of the interconnectedness of all of us on this planet will serve you well. You are the generation that will need to address the unprecedented challenges facing our society and our planet. And I, for one, feel confident that you are up to that challenge. I'm so pleased to honor this resilient Del Val class of 2021. My hope for each of you is to continue to be proud of the education you worked so hard to get, to use your knowledge for the betterment of our world, and to thrive in all parts of your life. Thank you, everyone. It has been an honor for me to serve the university. Congratulations, graduates, and go Aggies.
Thank you, Dr. Gallo. I'm pleased to invite Mr. Joseph Chip Krauskopf to return to the podium to announce our first Young Alumni Trustee.
On behalf of the university's Board of Trustees, I am delighted to have the opportunity to announce Del Val's inaugural Young Alumni Trustee, or as we like to call it, the YAT. I could not be prouder to see the university add a YAT, as I first introduced the idea of the position when I saw it announced at my son's graduation from another school 2 years ago. Since that time, I've had the pleasure of spearheading the planning efforts for Del Val's Young Alumni Trustee position, which was added to the board last fall. The goals are to strengthen the board's relationship with current students and young alumni, enrich the board with fresh ideas and new perspectives, and give a greater voice to students and young alumni. The Young Alumni Trustee was selected following an intensive process that started with a campus-wide nomination process that culminated in candidates meeting with members of the board's Committee on Trusteeship. That committee selected one individual to recommend to the board for election as the Young Alumni Trustee, and the board has approved that recommendation. Therefore, it is my honor and privilege to announce that Chloe Sees has been elected this year's Young Alumni Trustee. Chloe earned her degree in secondary education, specializing in agriculture, from Del Val in December of 2020. And she is now a teacher at Warrior Run School District in Central Pennsylvania. We know that Chloe will be an extraordinary representative of Del Val's young alumni as she begins serving on the board in the coming months. Please join me in a round of applause to congratulate Chloe, who will be celebrating her commencement tomorrow, on her election as the Young Alumni Trustee, and wish her well on this important role.
Thank you, Mr. Krauskopf, and congratulations again to Chloe. I now have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker, Seamus McGraw. Seamus is an award-winning author and journalist. He is the author of A Thirsty Land, The Making of an American Water Crisis, the critically acclaimed The End of Country, Dispatches from the Frack Zone, and Betting the Farm on a Drought, Stories from the Front Line of Climate Change. He is also the author of Jack of Spades, The Very Last Will and Testament of Old Joe, a short story, a work of fiction in which the main character decides to share his truth with his son at the end of his life. McGraw has also been a regular contributor to many publications, including the New York Times, HuffPost, Popular Mechanics, Reader's Digest, The Forward, and more. Seamus has enriched the student experience at Delaware Valley University by serving as a speaker and panelist for events for many years. As a speaker, he has offered insight on pressing social and environmental issues. He has received the Freedom of Information Award from the Associated Press Managing Editors, the Golden Quill Award, as well as honors from the Casey Foundation and the Society of Professional Journalists. A father of 4, he lives in the woods of northeastern Pennsylvania with his wife Karen and his children. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Seamus McGraw.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Dr. Gallo, trustees. And thank you for allowing me to join you today. I wish I could tip my cap to you, but I can't because it's not my cap. This is a borrowed cap and gown that I'm wearing today. The achievement they symbolize are, for me, only honorary, gratefully and humbly received, but really, I haven't earned them. You have. Each and every one of you. Through diligence and hard work, through your own dedication and drive, guided by the talent and experience and creativity of your professors and teachers, every one of you sitting here today has already achieved in your comparatively short lives greater academic distinction than I ever have. And I am proud to be with you here today to celebrate your achievements. Now, it's a safe bet that this is not the first time that you've been asked to sit quietly and politely and listen while an old white guy who has less of a right to be here than any one of you do prattles on about what you ought to do and how you ought to do it. It's an ironclad guarantee that it won't be the last time. Since the beginning of time, it's been an immutable law of the universe that those of us who made the mess get to lecture those of you who have to clean it up. We get to tell you how to fix what we broke, even when we don't have a clue. Don't look at me that way, guys. I didn't make the rules. Then again, maybe I did. Or maybe guys just like me did. And maybe it's time those rules changed. Maybe what I need to do here today is not lecture you, but first apologize to you. Other graduating classes from this university have been tasked with going out into the world to contend with grave crises, world wars and depressions, social upheaval and deep divisions in a culture that seems to revel in pitting us one against the other. This university was founded in a challenging time, and it has evolved and grown in response to all the challenging times since. But this is a unique era that you are graduating into. And you are, in many ways, being asked to face all the challenges that all the classes that came before you faced, but to face them all at once. Unrest and conflict, a planet wounded by the profligacy and thoughtlessness of the generations that came before you, one existential crisis stacked upon another, made worse by the lingering effects of a terrible, deadly global pandemic that has upended the flawed systems that we, those of us who left you this mess, helped create. On behalf of everyone born in the years immediately after World War II, let me sincerely and humbly apologize. Now, let me tell you something that many others of my generation won't. I trust you. I believe in you. I've been making trips to this remarkable university for about a decade now. And I have always found this place inspiring. I love what it was founded to be, and I love what it has become. More importantly, I love what you and the other scholars and leaders this school has produced have become. I've had the opportunity to meet some of you over the years, and I can tell you, without reservation or fear of contradiction, that in every encounter, I have come away with that sense of awe, a sense of respect, and more critically, a sense of relief. I've spoken at plenty of universities, some with long legacies and prestigious names, but none of them has impressed me as much as this place has. Nothing has made me more confident that you will, find a way forward than has the time I've gotten to spend here with you. And yet, it's the price I pay to wear this borrowed gown and a perk of my gray beard that I'm expected to give you some words of advice. I'm supposed to act as if there's something worth considering inside this bald head of mine, and you're constrained by tradition to pretend that you believe that there is too. Let's not, shall we? I don't have any practical advice to give you. I'm not a biologist or an agricultural researcher who can point you toward a way to ease suffering and end hunger. I'm not a social scientist who can sketch out a future where our divisions are not so great or confounding. I'm not a scholar of any sort. As those of you who know me know well, I'm just a storyteller. And all I can offer you today is a story. It's kind of a shaggy dog story. You see, a few weeks ago, my old English bulldog, Boudica, was napping on the deck of my remote home in the woods in the far northeastern corner of this state when one of our neighbors, in the middle of the day, decided to exercise his inalienable right to do whatever the hell he wanted, whenever the hell he wanted to, and set off a deafening barrage of fireworks. Some of you have met Boudica. She's joined me here from time to time, and you know she has a gentle spirit, friendly but timid. The fireworks terrified her. And before we knew she was missing, she lit out off over the mountain and vanished into thousands upon thousands of acres of forest that surround us. She was gone, without a trace. For 5 years, that dog had been my constant companion, always at my side. Indeed, before the pandemic bequeathed me a house full of people, she was often my only companion. And so my wife, my children, and I began a frantic and far-flung search for her. We did all the things we were supposed to do. We flooded social media and we tacked up literally thousands of signs and posters. Old friends and new ones made in the moment selflessly volunteered to join us as we scoured the deep woods. Those woods are full of hazards. It was coyote mating season, a time when coyotes become particularly aggressive and dangerous. I shuddered when I thought of what they might do to my best friend. There were other mortal dangers as well. Those woods are full of bears, ravenous after just waking up after their winter slumber. The creeks that bore through those mountains were full and raging and all but impassable that time of year. And there are at various points deep in the forest sudden drop-offs and sheer cliffs that can, without warning, cause a lost soul to be lost forever. Remember, these are the very same woods where just a few years ago, 1,000 cops spent nearly a month searching for a cop-killing fugitive. Now I was searching them. And on my journeys, I found something I had not been looking for. I found a sense of real community. I found a sense of hope. Complete and total strangers dropped what they were doing and joined the search. At one point, while stumbling into a hollow where I'd never been before, I came across a shanty, an off-the-grid compound, really, guarded by fierce-looking dogs and bedecked with flags and banners that bespoke a worldview that was very different from my own. A woman, hard-looking, appearing far older than she probably was, eyed me suspiciously. Under other circumstances, this woman would have viewed an interloper like me as at least a threat and probably an enemy. Such are the times we live in. Such are the times we're asking you to navigate for us. But under these circumstances, she softened. She choked up, actually, when she told me about 2 terrible weeks a few years ago when one of her beloved dogs went missing, and she promised to do everything she could to help me find Boudica. Episodes like that were repeated again and again and again over the next 2 weeks. The search for Boudica became a community effort. I'm not exaggerating. when I say that literally hundreds of people participated to some degree in the actual search, doing what they could, and thousands, at least 2,000 that I know of, followed every post on Facebook and Twitter. These were people still under partial lockdown due to the deadly pandemic that was still raging in our corner of the state. These were people who came from every social and ethnic background you can imagine, from every race represented there, from all sides of our cultural fractures. And yet this search drew them together, and it held them together. She'd been missing for 5 days when we got our first reported sighting at an all but abandoned old honeymoon resort about 8 miles northeast of us. By the time we got there, of course, she was gone. It was another week before another report came in, and then another, and another, and another, all of them another 10 miles southwest of us, inside a lake community. Again, another community rallied behind us in our search. Strangers let me park my car overnight in their driveway so I could sleep for a few hours at a time while continuing the search. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd hear from people who couldn't sleep themselves and decided to go out and take a quick look for Bo. When I traced Boudica's travels on a map, it occurred to me that she appeared to be making a gigantic circle, 20 miles across, with our home, her home, smack dab in the middle. Her homing instincts had kicked in, I thought. But so too, probably, had her survival instincts. It now became a race between those two instincts, one of which might lead her home, and the other might lead her into more danger. There would be false alarms, several of them, sightings of dogs that looked vaguely like Boudica. And I was starting to fear that maybe we had been running after the wrong dog all along. It'd be another 4 days before we got the next reliable sighting of her. A guy who lived more than 100 miles away in South Jersey had been viewing the security camera at his weekend home at the lake when he spotted a dog that looked to him a lot like Boudica. He called me. To tell you the truth, I had all but given up hope by that point, convinced that despite the efforts of all the strangers and my own, Boudica was likely to have been lost forever. I asked him to send me a picture and a video. He did. It was indeed Boudica. There was no mistaking her. I rushed to the house, and sure enough, I found a track, just one. It had rained the night before, and in the fresh mud, I found one of Boudica's distinctive split-toe paw marks with a telltale long curved claw on the outside of her right paw. I tried to suss out which direction she had headed and clawed my way up through a pile of scree when I saw an older woman playing with what appeared to be her grandson. I called to her from the woods. I startled her. "I'm afraid," she said in an Eastern European accent that I couldn't quite place. "Go away or I'll call the police." I tried to explain that I was looking for my dog, that I meant her no harm, but I could see that I was only agitating her further, and so, as I would do later, I took off my hat and slowly backed away. I reached out to my wife and told her that she needed to contact the woman, that only a woman could ease her fears. Such are the times we live in. Such are the times we're asking you to navigate for us. For the next 4 hours, there were no more sightings, no signs of Boudica. And then, just as I was about to give up for the evening, I got a phone call from some other wonderful strangers. A retired couple from Long Island. We have our eyes on your dog, they told me. I raced to the location, right on the lakefront, just a few short yards from the spot where the stranger from South Jersey had videotaped her, and there she was. I took off my hat, made myself small, sat down on the ground and spoke softly to her. Her survival instinct had indeed kicked in. She huffed a warning at me, but didn't move. She simply stared at me with blank, dark, and empty eyes. Feral. She did not recognize me, and that broke my heart. We sat there for a full 5 minutes at least, and then something miraculous happened. The darkness vanished from her eyes. She recognized me and came bounding into my arms. There is one coda to this shaggy dog story. As I loaded Boudica into my car, my phone rang. It was the woman who had refused me access to her property earlier in the day. It had by then been explained to her that I meant her no harm and that I had only been searching for my dog, and she apologized over and over again in halting, broken English. I told her that there was no need to apologize, that I understood that I had frightened her, and that I was deeply sorry for that. I wanted to say more. I wanted to say that she had nothing to fear from me, that she had nothing to fear from her neighbors, that they were kind and selfless people who had gone to amazing lengths to aid and comfort a stranger. I wanted to tell her that maybe she too had found her way home. But I couldn't find the words. Maybe there are none. Maybe what I wanted to tell her can only really be expressed in deeds. And maybe that's what I want to tell you too. We're sending you into the woods. There are great dangers out there. Trust your instincts and trust the way you've honed them during your time here in this special place. Draw your circles wide through the woods, and if and when you temporarily lose your way, as almost certainly you will for a time, trust that there are countless people out there, strangers with great hearts, who will help you find your way back home, because for all of our differences, for all of our false divisions and arbitrary distinctions, that's who we really are. Strangers with great hearts. It's time. Go. Get lost. Because the sooner you get lost, the sooner you'll find a way home for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Seamus, for your inspirational message. We have now reached the moment you have been waiting for, the conferral of your hard-earned degrees. Students who have earned academic honors are designated as follows. Summa cum laude represents the highest academic honors, grade point average of 3.9 to 4.0. Magna cum laude represents high academic honors, grade point average of 3.7 to 3.89. Cum laude represents academic honors, a grade point average of 3.5 to 3.69. It is now time for graduates to come forth and be recognized. As your name is called by Dr. Smolin, please come across the stage to receive your diploma cover. You will then pose where indicated for your photo. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dean Gene Smolin, who will present the degree candidates from the School of Life and Physical Sciences.
Thank you, Dr. Ben. President Gallo, members of the Board of Trustees, and honored guests. I have the privilege of announcing the baccalaureate degree candidates from the School of Life and Physical Sciences. The following students are receiving their baccalaureate degree in Conservation and Wildlife Management. Mr. Reg Hoyt, co-chair, and Dr. Kim Kovath, co-chair. The following students are receiving their baccalaureate degree in biology. Dr. Gregory George Chair. Christian K. Anderson, summa cum laude. Elise Marie Barbera, cum laude. Jenna Lee Blythe. Andrew S. Boyers. Tiara Dwight, magna cum laude. No. Abigail Hannah Fusk, cum laude. Owen R. Foley. Jessica Gall. Kayla Corinne Gallant, magna cum laude. Sky Tiara Glover. Abigail J. Harple. Cariana Marie Head, magna cum laude. Trent Patrick Holden. Jamie Lynn Jelliff. Emily Grace Kling, summa cum laude. Jessica Aviana Kramer. Ian Patrick Law. Austin R. Lee, magna cum laude. Catherine Lucia Leonard. Hillary Caitlin Minch, magna cum laude. Brendan Michael Moran, magna cum laude. Victoria Moreira, summa cum laude. Faith Paul. Samantha Sue Slevins. Adam Christopher Snyder, cum laude. Rula Theodoropoulos. Amanda Vansco, cum laude. The following students are receiving their baccalaureate degree in chemistry. Karen McPherson, Chair. Aaron Volov. following students are receiving their baccalaureate degree in Conservation and Wildlife Management. Co-chairs Mr. Reg Hoyt, Dr. Kim Kovath. Alexa Jane Apgar. Brittany Teresa Ballet. Emily Rose Bernfeld. Trevor A. Blackwood, summa cum laude. Nathan Camacho. Laura Lynn Carbone, cum laude. Taylor Michelle Collins. Rachel Lee Darty. Hallie Alexia DePero. Billy Joe Lynn Dowling. Lindsay Edwards. Sarah A. Fetter. Kyla Ann Ford. David Fowler. Anna Gill. Michael E. Gracia, Jr. Alexander P. Gunderson. Angela Holanda. Sarah Nicole Kapdorowski, summa cum laude. Cameron Newton Cagle. Michael Francis Coslin. Andrew Mitchell Landis. Chantel Mena, cum laude. Yesenia Justina Mendez. Jacob Michael Miranda. Storm Capri Moya. Ekaterina Kariuk. Jordan Z. Parham. Audrey Grace Randazzo. Shannon Kaylee Rinker, cum laude. Timothy Michael Ruth, Jr. Molly Eleanor Slanina, cum laude. Courtney Lynn Stevens. Zachary Swope. Caitlin Emily Taylor, magna cum laude. Megan Sarah Williams. The following students are receiving their baccalaureate degree in small animal science: Mr. Reg Hoyt, co-chair; Dr. Kim Kofath, co-chair. Lydia Desiree Anderson Dearborn, cum laude. Carly Catherine Black. Julianne Kathleen Burns. Kristen Grace Clarizio. Julia Clayton. Stephanie Ann Diaz. Casey Marie England. Rajonique Simone Ford. Nicholas Lauren Joswick, magna cum laude. Jaden Alexis Kiefer. Emily Keene. Karina Lynn Kirschler. Sabina L. Knapp. Matthew Mahoney. Caitlin Maxfield, magna cum laude. Nina Isabella Morales, summa cum laude. Jordan Anna O'Shea. Anna Paula Palkar. Monica Rose Piatti, magna cum laude. Alessandra Marie Pintado. Emily Lauren Poe, magna cum laude. Jaslyn K. Singh, cum laude. Kelsey Versbekis. Caitlin Marie Ward. Lydia Marianne Zeminski, cum laude. The following students are receiving their baccalaureate degree in zoo science: Mr. Reg Hoyt and Dr. Kim Kovath, co-chairs. Rachel Elizabeth Brower. Veronica Angela Feibush. Brianna Rose Garnett, magna cum laude. Olivia Marie Gorman. Emily Marie Kennedy. Caitlin Alexandra McDonald. Janice Olivares, cum laude. Lily Ophelia Sheedy. Sabrina Noel Smith. Right. Catherine Wind, cum laude. This concludes the graduates from the School of Life and Physical Sciences.
President Gallo, these students have completed all their degree requirements and have been approved and recommended by the faculty and Board of Trustees to be awarded their degrees.
Okay. I found the important words here. By the power vested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and as president of Delaware Valley University, I'm proud to confer upon each of you the various degrees for which you are qualified with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto.
Thank you, President Gallo. Graduates, now that President Gallo has conferred your degrees upon you, please move your tassels from the right side to the left side of your caps. It is my pleasure to present to all of you the Delaware Valley University class of 2021. Congratulations to each of you. The university is very proud of you on becoming our newest alumnae and alumni. Graduates, reaching this milestone is possible because of your hard work and sacrifice. We don't walk life's path alone, however. Your families and friends have supported you every step of the way. Some of them are here with us today. Please join me in extending our appreciation to them. Just like your family and friends, your professors, the Del Val faculty, as well as our staff, helped you reach this pinnacle. Please join me in expressing our appreciation to them for their instruction, their mentorship, and their commitment to your success. Lastly, I thank everyone from across campus who came together to make this weekend possible. A special thank you goes out to Andrew Moyer, who led our commencement planning and implementation efforts. Congratulations to our newest alumni, the class of 2021. Please stand for the alma mater sung by the Delaware Valley University Chorale and directed by Dr. Marie Tavianini.
Free
This concludes our ceremony. Please remain standing for the recessional and remain at your place until the platform party and graduates have recessed. We encourage you to meet your family at your vehicles. Congratulations again to everyone.